child with mental illness, you've probably already realized you're not alone. The rates of adolescent anxiety and depression have climbed sharply in recent years, even before the COVID-19 pandemic brought its trauma, frustrations, and social isolation. From 2019 to 2021, symptoms of anxiety and depression doubled among U.S. youth. In early 2021, emergency room visits for suicide attempts rose 51% for adolescent girls over the same period in 2019. For boys, the increase was 4%. In a survey taken during the pandemic, 46% of U.S. parents said their children's mental health had deteriorated. By the end of the second year of the pandemic, mental health care professionals who treat young people were reporting a huge increase in demand. One psychiatrist described an avalanche of severely depressed and anxious youth. While the new stresses didn't create more bipolar disorder, they have certainly aggravated the illness in many young people. COVID-19 upended Paula's teenage son's life. Before the pandemic, Andy was a state-ranked swimmer and Eagle Scout. But after swim practices and scout meetings were canceled, Andy spiraled down. He spent hours alone in his room. He started cutting and burning his arms. Then one afternoon, he drove more than an hour away to a store where he shoplifted a pair of leather pants that cost $1,000. He was charged with the felony and jailed. Yet when Paula tried to get him help, she faced a 5-week wait for therapy. In 2021, several leading U.S. health groups sounded alarms. The American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, and the Children's Hospital Association joined in declaring a national emergency in youth mental health. Welcome to your new job. Having a child with bipolar disorder means the normal work of parenting expands. Your job now includes trying to understand what you're dealing with, tracking down effective treatment, and finding ways to afford it, and advocating for your child outside your home. Most importantly, you will need to manage your own justifiable heated emotions as you seek to protect your child and the rest of your family from the fallout of the illness. I am becoming used to an overwhelming, grinding mixture of anger and worry, writes David Sheff, whose son Nick was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in A Beautiful Boy, A Father's Journey Through His Son's Addiction. All of this may demand a lot more energy and time than you'd anticipated, or even imagine you can muster. But there are many ways to lighten the load. We've written this book to acquaint you with them, to be your straight-talking companion and practical guide. We understand how much you may need a non-judgmental friend. In the meantime, however, we strongly encourage you also to seek out real-life friends among other parents. There is nothing like the camaraderie of other adults who understand what it feels like to be coping with these challenges. We all knew that tunnel, writes Dorothy O'Donnell, whose daughter was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at age 5. We knew how the strain of raising a child with a mental illness could chip away at the most solid marriage. We had seen our girls flounder in school and lose friends. We'd seen the looks of skepticism from our friends and relatives when we tried to explain pediatric bipolar disorder. Life between the extremes. Mental illness, just like physical illness, occurs on a continuum. On one end lies optimum mental health, allowing people to process thoughts and feelings in ways that help them succeed in school or work, having fulfilling relationships, and cope with change and adversity. The opposite pole represents severe mental illness, which interferes